In this one, we're going to revisit loops. So you've already seen for looping, and we used it with a counter, incrementing a count each time, and we also did it by looping over arrays and slices. In this one, what we're going to do is we're going to use a for loop like a while loop in other languages. Now, Go does not have a while keyword, so we still use the word for, but we also use that with a condition. So we say for and we check a condition, and so we're going to have a look at that, but we're also going to have a look at running a for loop without a condition and using break to break out of that loop, and also how we can skip an iteration using the continue keyword. Okay, so use cases for this: repeating code until something changes, i.e. a condition is no longer true, waiting for input to be valid, processing data until a condition is met, creating loops with no fixed number of iterations, and building long-running processes to check for exit conditions. Okay, let's give this a go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep dividing this number n until the value is greater or equal to 1, and then I'm no longer going to divide it. So how can I do that? Well, I can use for with a condition. For, and we're going to say n is greater than or equal to 1. And while that condition is true, this loop will run. So what did we say that we want to do here? Well, we want to halve it each time, but we'll also have a little bit of feedback so we can actually see what our loop is doing. And so what I'll do is I will print out the value of n at the start of each loop. And then we're going to half n. So n equals n divided by 2. And so what that means is that the value of n will half with each iteration. So first time we get to here, n will be 40. We'll print out 40, and then we will half it. Half of 40 is 20. So next time we get to here, n will equal 20. It's still greater than or equal to 1. So the loop will run and we will print 20, and so on and so forth. I'm sure you get the picture. So that's our code complete. Let's go and run this. I'm expecting to see us print out all the way down to 1. 40, 20, 10, 5. And remember, this is an integer. So after 5, we won't see 2.5. The decimal places will be dropped, and so it will be 2, and then 1, and then that should be the end of it. Let's go run main.go. 40, 20, 10, 5, 2, 1. And then once we halve 1, this no longer evaluates to true, and so the internals of this loop are not executed. Okay, our next example will use an infinite loop, which we must break out of. So here, just going to say for with no condition. So what this means is it's just going to continue to run and run and run. So what we need to do is put something in there which will break out of this loop. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to keep incrementing count, and then when count reaches 0, we're going to break out. And for that, we can use the break keyword, which looks like this. So if count equals 3, we call break, and what that means is the loop stops looping. Okay, now we've started at 0, so what we need to do is increment each time. And again, before we do that, what I'm going to do is we're just going to print the value of count, just so that we can see what's happening in the terminal when we run this. Okay, and like I say, what we want to do is increment each time. Can you remember how we increment a value by 1? We did it in a recent lesson. Simply add a plus on the end of count, and that will increase or increment count by 1. So what do we expect to see here? So first of all, count is 0. We'll run this. Count does not equal 3, so we're not going to break. We're simply going to print out the value of count, which will be 0, and we'll increment it by 1. So next time this runs, we check if it's 3. It isn't 3, it's 1, so we don't break out. We print the value 1, and then we increase it to 2, and so on and so forth until we get to 3. Once it reaches 3, then we break out of here. We do not print the value 3. So here I'm expecting to see the values 0, 1 and 2 printed. Let's go and check if I'm right. Go run main.go, count 0, count 1, count 2. So just to reiterate, we didn't include a condition here, which means that this will just continue to run until we break out. Next, what if we're working inside of a loop and suddenly a condition is met and we don't want to execute the rest of the internals of that loop? We just want to skip to the next iteration. Well, we can do that with a keyword called continue. So here, this time we will have a condition. We'll say I is less than or equal to 6. And so basically what we're saying there is keep running this loop while I is less than or equal to 6. But what I want to do is just print out the even numbers. So how can I check if a number is even? This is something that you'll see a lot in all programming languages. What you use is you use the modulus and you check if a number is divisible by 2. And to check if a number is divisible by 2 using modulus is you check to see if the value is 0. If I modulus 2 equals 0, we know that we're dealing with an even number. So what we'll do is we'll skip the odd numbers and just print out the even ones. So here I'm going to say if I modulus 2 does not equal 0, that means we're dealing with an odd number, in which case we shall increment I and we'll just continue. And so when you continue, it means no further code in this loop will be executed. However, if we're dealing with an even number, let's print that out. Print out the even number, and then again here we need to increment, because if this evaluates to false, we're dealing with an even number. So this code will be skipped. We'll print out the even number and then we will increment. If, however, we're dealing with an odd number, we'll increment and continue. We won't print because we're not dealing with an even number. Okay, so what numbers do you expect to be printed here? We should see only the even numbers. Let's run this. Even number 2, even number 4, even number 6. So there we use the continue keyword to skip to the next iteration of the loop. Okay, so time to get your hands on the keyboard and have a go at this yourself, just to get a feel for this. So here is the challenge. Write a program that starts with a number and keeps doubling it until it exceeds 100. So start with a number, initialize a number, n equals 1 for example, then use a while style loop. So the syntax for that would be for n is less than or equal to 100. Inside the loop, print the current value of n and then double the number. So you can do that with n equals n multiplied by 2, and the loop should stop when n exceeds 100. So careful there when n exceeds 100, because what we are checking is that n is less than or equal to 100 in order for the loop to continue. So we shouldn't see 101. And then what you need to do is just run this using go run main.go. I'm sure you can do this. Pause me now and give that a go. Okay, let's talk our way through this. So for n is less than or equal to 100, so while that condition is true, this loop will continue to run. We will print the value of n each time, and we will double it each time. So we can double it like so. Let's talk about what we expect to see here. So while n is less than or equal to 100, what we're going to do is print out that value. So we should see the values printed 1 to 100, but we are doubling it each time. So think about that. So it should go 1, then 2, and then 4, and then 8. And so the last highest number that we should see should be 64. Let's go and test that theory. Okay, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, and if we double that we get 128, which of course is greater than 100, and so we should not see How did you get on with that one? Hope you managed to give it a go. Hope you succeeded. But at least having a go at something, that is going to help you learn, because you learn from your mistakes. And sometimes it's quite easy to sort of misread these challenges. So make sure you read them thoroughly. Always give them a go. And I think that's been an interesting one there, because you've seen the flexibility of this for keyword in Go. So while at first it might have seemed quite simple and quite innocent, it can actually do quite a lot. And all the different types of loops that you see in other languages, Go handles them all with one keyword, and that is for. So we've used for as like what would typically be a for in other languages, using counters. We used it to loop over a slice, whereas you might have for each or something else in other languages. And we've used it like a while loop there, while a condition is true. But we also used it without supplying a condition, and therefore we needed to break out of the loop. Hope you enjoyed this one. Give it a like. Make sure you subscribed. If you have a friend that's learning Go, then why not share this with them? Let's all learn together.